Hey folks, this is a demonstration of the use of what I call a fraction calculator. It's really a scientific calculator, but you do have to make sure that it has a fraction function. It doesn't cost anything extra, but some of them don't include that. The kind that I like is the ABC key type. This is the key right here next to the number 1 on this one. This is a TI 30XA. Commonly you can get these with Texas Instruments, which is TI or Casio machines. They also have other kinds with like a dark filled rectangle over an empty rectangle. I don't like those as much. They're more complicated. They're okay too, but this is the easiest type to use. I call that the ABC key, and that means fraction. Parts of things that you might use it for would be also when you're doing a mixed number. This button, the ABC key or the fraction key, sometimes I call it that, will separate the parts of a fraction or all three parts of a mixed number. So I'll get to that in a minute. But you want to get one of these ABC keys on your calculator. So now what I'm going to do is show you how to use it with a problem that has a lot going on. And I'm going to step back here and point out stuff that goes on here. What we have is 5 and 17 over 21 plus 3 and 9 over 14. I turn that into four things, which are 5 and 3 and 17 over 21 and 9 over 14, changing the order. Then I need to find the common denominator of these two guys. I find out that 21 doesn't work, but 21 twice is 42. That divides by 14. 21 becomes my common denominator. The 5 and 3 make 8, and they're good to go as an 8, and they'll stay that way till almost the end of the work. Then we got to get the 42s, divide by 21, get 2s, 42 divide by 14, get 3s to create the fractions here with 42 as each denominator, so now they match, right? These are called equivalent fractions. 13 over 42 has the same value as 17 over 21. Check with the decimal if you want to. 27 over 42 has the same value as 9 over 14, but they do both have 42 as their denominator now. That allows us to keep the denominator. There's the 8 again, but what we did was we took the 34 plus 27, made that our numerators where we do our work, combining like terms. These kind of terms are fractions that have 42 as their denominator. We must keep the denominator. Onward. 8 still plus, that's 61 for the numerator over 42. But 61 over 42 is an improper fraction. Because it's improper for something like this, we would divide 61 by 42 and get a 1 with a remainder of 19 over 42. Look what I did here. I took the plus 1, right, and I made those into 8 plus 1. Then I put a plus sign and I let the 19 over 42 sit in the back as the fraction. 8 plus 1 gets me 19 over 42. Sometimes when you have that 19 over 42, that will also become a fraction that can be further reduced. I want to show you how I do that same problem here on the fraction calculator. Here are the keys that I'm going to hit. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to clear what's on there, and I'm going to go for 3 and 17 over, sorry, not 3, 5 with 17 over 21. I'm going to hit 5, and then the fraction key, and then the 17, and then the fraction key, and then 21. And this is what you'll see. That is 5 and 17 over 21. See the space after the 5? That means here's the space. 17 comma 21 is 17 over 21. Now I'll hit plus, and I'll put the other guy in. There's the 3. 3 and 9 over 14. 3 ABC 9 ABC 14. There is my 3 and 9/14. Now I'm going to hit equals. Okay? Do you now see 9 and 19 over 42? The thing I worked so hard to get. Had the 19 over 42 come out to something that was reducible, that would have reduced. You want to see something like that again? Let me take something like 30, no, not 30, let's go with something better than that. Let me go with something that fools a lot of people, okay? 34 over 51, okay. What I do is I write my 34 ABC 51, and you look, and there's 34 over 51, okay? Now I'm going to hit equals. You know, I didn't change it to anything, I just hit equals, and it automatically reduces to the well-hidden 2/3. It turns out each of those divided by 17. Math teachers love to hide that, fool you, make it look like they're so much smarter than you. This guy knows it. This guy's cost, what do I say, between $8 and $20 for a calculator like this. You just got to make sure you've got that ABC key to do your fraction work. Now, what if I want to get a mixed number out of something? Because, you know, I've got something like, let's go with 58 ABC 7. That's 58 over 7. It's not 58 divided by 7. 58 over 7 is a fraction. When I hit equals, that thing becomes my 8 and 2/7. Okay. Now, the other thing is, what if I want to take that back to an improper fraction, right? It was 8 and 5/7. I can now hit this key up here. It's a second key. It's called to ND. It might be function, might be other things, but it's usually a different colored key. And then if I look right above the ABC on my ABC key, it's got just D over C, and that means that it wants to switch back and forth between 58 over 7, shift ABC, back to the mixed number. That's what it's going to do. So this will know if you have a improper fraction, it will automatically make it into a mixed number. But if you want to show that as an improper fraction, it will reduce it back. There's something coming up later that you might want to use when we're having a hard time figuring out, you know, what should I use for the LCD of my denominators. What I do that works almost all the time, there are rare occasions when it doesn't, is I take the denominators of all of my fractions and I do, like, if I've got 7 over 5 and then 6 over, I don't know, 11 and 9 over 2. I had 5, 11, and 2. I would go like this. I would go put 1 over each one of those denominators. Remember, they were 5, 11, and 2. So what I'm doing is 1 plus, sorry, clear that. 1 over the 5 plus 1 over the 11 plus 1 over the 2. Now, I'm going to hit equals. I put 1s instead of what I was supposed to have in my denominator, but this came up with the answer of adding them with 1s. I don't want the whole thing. I want to use 110. Because what happened is that it went ahead and it found the common denominator and it added the numerators. And I'm not worried about the numerators right now, but the easiest thing for me to do to shorten the problem for you is have you put 1 in for every numerator, add them together, let this do the work, and it comes out pretty much the same no matter what the numerators are. There are a few exceptions, but not enough to worry about. And it tells me, why don't you try 110? Remember, it was 5, 2, and 10, and it turned out that those all got multiplied together. But now, what if I take something like 2/3 plus 5/9 plus 1/6? All right, 2/3 plus 5/9 plus 1/6. I want to see what I've got. 9, 6, and 3. So 3, 6, and 9. 9 is the biggest. 9 doesn't divide by 6. It should be 18. That's the way we learned it. But now, if I take 1 of them was a 3, so 1 ABC3 plus 1 ABC6 plus 1 ABC9 equals. This thing comes out with 11 over 18. That's not the answer to the problem that I had, but it found my LCD. So that will come later in the course for some of us. When we're having trouble finding the LCD, we use the LCD when we're adding fractions. There's a lot of work to make it be the perfect answer and get the right numerator, but just putting 1s on top, letting this guy do its work, will generally reveal for you that LCD. So hopefully you find that helpful. This is what we do, a lot of the stuff. The key is knowing, oh, what a bad pun. The key is ABC, A, B over C on a calculator like this. So I hope that if you're in my class and you don't have one yet, you find it worth it to purchase one of these calculators. I don't think it's cheating. I think it's just smart to have you do that. And then after your math class, when you can't find this anymore and you can't do fractions, you know what? If you got a smartphone, you can get an app that'll do that. We won't allow you to use a smartphone on our course exams, but the future for you will be, can I get this stuff on my smartphone so wherever my phone is, I can go ahead and use it down the road if I ever need it again. But it's a terrific tool, it's inexpensive, and you don't have to be beating yourself up over adding fractions anymore. Good luck.